Yo, JD here, Limitless, and we are finally back with a brand new league race. This is TSRL round 4 at Spain, Catalonia, and you can probably tell a few issues going on right now at the start of this race, but we eventually get out on track, and this is the championship standings coming into this. I'm currently leading the championship after having 3 second places, but my rival, or my new upcoming rival, Jam Pancakes, he is close on my heels, and you can see invalidated this lap. And you might think that's a little bit weird because I should have stayed on the track pretty easy, but I can confirm about every issue possible that was happening to me. My main issue was my headset. My headset was having no audio whatsoever, and then my game just crashed then. And my wheel turned off as well at the start of the video. So this is really not optimal because I was feeling very, very good coming into this race. I prepared very well, but I've only got 3 minutes of a session left, and I managed to get an invite. So I've missed a majority of the session, and my headset was still, the sound was okay at this point, but then it just kept on cutting out every couple of seconds and stuff like that. So I was really, at this point in the video, or in the race, in the qualifying, I was really not feeling that good at all. You need to be relaxed before you go into a race to be calm, and I certainly wasn't calm because I still wasn't really happy with everything that was going on. But I managed to get out and do a soft lap at the end of Q1 just to try and get through, and coming across the line, it's a 17.5, which is not mind-blowing, but for a Q1 lap, it's not bad at all. So I was just trying to calm myself down, just get in the zone a bit more, and just hoping that the issues wouldn't really return because it seemed to kind of sort itself out. Although my wheel, it turned off and then came back on again, it didn't feel like it would normally feel. The force feedback, even on the same settings I checked, it was same settings and everything, but it just wasn't there at all. But we do a hard lap in Q2 as we do at the standard, and then it's to try and qualify on the medium tyre, because that's what you really need to do the one stop. So this is my medium lap, or one of 2 laps, because you can do 2 push laps on these tyres. And my PB on this tyre was a 17.3, and I think I've even saved that to my Xbox DVR if you want to go and check that out. But yeah, I was really, really confident coming into this race. Probably the most confident, other than Australia, that I have been so far. In this first sector, as I was driving this lap, it's very weird. It felt like a quite good lap, but looking back at this now, I can just see that it just isn't committed at all. And I've used that word quite a lot in a few of my videos. I'm either a driver that drives flat out and I'm completely on it, or if I'm not on it, then it's just not lazy driving, but just not committed, not confident really at all. And you can see went out a bit wide before that DRS zone and went a bit deep in here, doing a purple middle sector apparently, but I don't really believe that delta most of the time. A Hawks does a 17.6, and we're going to go through the side chicane again. Now, making a bit of a mistake there, but shouldn't really be losing too much time. And overall, I'd say that lap is about a 6 out of 10. But coming across the line, it's an 18.2, and I honestly couldn't believe it. It didn't feel like an 18.2. It felt like a high 17 or something like that. And I don't know, I think maybe because of just having so much drama, and you can also see by my stream as well, like it was my wheel, headset, stream, pretty much, and the game as well crashed. It's all those things happening to me. Really wasn't good of me coming in with a calm approach, and the audio seems to be okay now, but it still wasn't perfect while I was doing it in my headset itself. So it was very distracting for me, and obviously I want to ensure all this is working fine. I don't really want to be worrying about those issues. I want to be focusing purely on the driving itself. And you can see in this lap here, we've pretty much run out of ERS. We're well over a tenth down, and again, just looking back at this, it just doesn't seem, I can confirm, just when I was driving at this moment, I just wasn't confident at all. I just wasn't confident in how much I could push it. And on this game, you need to be attacking corners with confidence. If you don't know where the limit is, you're going to be losing a lot of that time. And coming across the line, we do slightly improve, but it is only an 18-1. An 18-1. And now, because I've done that, that has put me P11. And I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe how poor that was. And I was really, really shocked myself. Like, yeah, honestly, even when the driving those laps, I really expected it to be faster than that. Considering a mid-17 was pretty easy for me in practice, because I did a lot of practice for this. I don't know what happened, honestly. I have no words, really, to be honest. And I have to watch my championship rival now, Jam Pancakes. But fortunately for me, he didn't have a particularly good qualifying. And we've had 3 seconds in this race, well, in these races so far in this championship. I just need to be consistent now, and consistency is what's going to win this championship. So when you're having poor performances, you really need to put in a performance. And again, I need to put in a performance here, because I don't think I had a great qualifying at China either. But now we've got 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It is essential that I get a good start, exactly like I did in China here. And for some reason we've got blue flags, but we get a pretty decent-ish start, and we've already made up, well, I thought we made up position, but we managed to maintain it quite nicely. And there's 3 cars abreast going into turn 1, so it's just crucial that we don't get any damage. And I decided to take the exit route, because I didn't want to get any damage here. And as a result of that, I lost a position, but I've actually gained a few positions. So I've gone from P11 to P8, and we're actually ahead of my championship rival, Jam Pancakes, in the Williams. And, considering what happened in qualifying, I was very, very fortunate that he didn't exactly have a great qualifying himself. And there is already a safety car that has come out, which is a new feature in this game. Whenever someone retires or crashes, it just comes out absolutely instantly. You're pretty much guaranteed to be having a safety car on this game now. But as that now finishes, we're in P8, and I was saying to myself, qualifying's over. You've still got a chance to even win this race from here. It's still very, very possible. I did it in IOR, I think, the previous season from outside the top 10. So I knew it was definitely possible. And I always feel a bit more confident in my race pace. But Alex ahead of me in the Ferrari is lagging quite a bit. So again, this is really not what you need. But thankfully, he pulls over, and I think he just leaves the session because his connection was particularly bad. So I've actually made up 4 positions into P7 ahead of my championship rival. Pretty much almost a perfect start that I could have got round here now. And I felt good in my consistency and on the harder tyres. I thought if I could just get my head down and just block out any issues that I'm suffering with, then we could still win this race or get a podium. That was really my mindset at this moment in time. And I was feeling a lot happier than I was at the beginning of the qualifying session. But moving on towards the middle of lap 5 now, pretty much the position's been stayed as someone in the Alfa Romeo has just completely gone off. I don't know what's happened to him, but that has promoted me into P6 now. So that is 5 positions in 5 laps. But moving towards the end of lap 7, let's see what is going to happen here. We get quite a good run coming off this corner, and you can see a 21.1. Let's see what lap time we do. We do 21.2, I think. And our straight line speed isn't particularly good. I was running 6.9 wings, so not very good, but it was good throughout the corners. And what you really need on a hard tyre is some downforce. And Hawks has actually overtaken Dominic in the Mercedes, my teammate ahead of me now. And now it's very crucial for me to get past. So I'm going to dive down the inside, and not the intention to overtake him, but to put him offline. And that has worked absolutely perfectly. And now I'm going around the outside of him, going into this corner. Very, very difficult to do. Try and get on the traction nice and early, putting it up into hot lap. He's still going to try and fight it down the inside. We leave him some room on the inside just in case. And that is me now into P5. So honestly, at this stage of the race, it's going absolutely perfectly. Now, I'd be very happy beating my championship rival and even getting in the top 5 in here. I'd be very, very happy with that. And now we've actually got onto the back of Hawks towards the end of lap 11, which is going to be really the pit window. But we'll make a little mistake on this curb. I was really struggling going through that last sequence of corners, and that has given Jam Pancakes a very good run. He is very quick in a straight line, it seems. So I'm just defending the inside here, because no, even if I don't get a podium, as long as I can even extend my championship lead, that'd be buzz. We make a bit of contact going through that corner. I'm not sure what happened there, but I managed to still get the position back and defend it on the inside. And it is crucial that I do not let him pass. But this is allowing Hawks actually to get away ever so slightly. But now I've managed to slot back in front. I don't think it's going to be close enough to go into this left-hander. The leaders are getting away slightly. But honestly, at this stage in the race, I was actually happy considering my qualifying performance. Coming through this again, we really struggle going through that last chicane as Hawks has actually pitted. I decided to continue on for another lap because there was a couple of guys that were going to pit behind me, and Jam Pancakes has continued along with me as well. So we're going to move on to the end of the lap and going into the pits now. Let's see. We actually extended the gap ever so slightly on this lap, so the pace seems to be good. He's actually continued for another lap, and these tyres can easily go to the end on the hards now. And I just did it to really try and cover off some guys behind me who pitted and to avoid some traffic because there's no way it's going to get held. So a pretty clean pit stop. Currently in P8, but I would say we're in a net P4, P5 at this stage in the race. Someone's already overtaken me who's already pitted. And coming out here, I think we're actually going to jump Hawk. So we've actually managed to perform the overcut on him. So I think we're provisionally in a P4 position at this stage in the race. And that has worked out perfectly for me. Honestly, couldn't have worked out any better. And at this stage in the race, I feel I've driven pretty well. I haven't been rapid, but I've just done what I needed to do. And I've been saying that for pretty much every round. You don't have to be the fastest, but you just need to perform when it counts and have that consistency. And we also managed to stay ahead of Jam Pancake, so he wasn't able to perform the overcut on me like I did of Hawks, but he has slotted in behind me though, so he has done the overcut on him though. And yeah, as I was saying, you don't need to be the fastest on raw pace, you just need to deliver when it counts. And every race this season, I feel I've just delivered when I really had to. Like Bahrain in particular, a track that is really not good for me, managed to get the P2 there. I felt I should have won on Australia, and China had a bad quali. I managed to come home in P2 from there. So I managed to pull clutch at the moment in these races, and it appears right now that this is going to be another one of these races. But we do have quite a big gap to John up ahead of me, to the leaders. So I'm really relying on them to encounter some traffic and just to start battling and stuff as well. But I do have Jam Pancakes, who has come out and he's managed to catch me already going through this first two sectors, and it's mainly through this last sector here, which you're about to see, that I just wasn't confident at all. You could just see it's just not committed. And again, take a shot every time I say the word committed. It just really wasn't at all. And coming across the line here, we haven't even done a 20, and he's going to close up on me. He is very quick in a straight line as well. And my best result really right now, I would say, is probably to get a top 4, unless the guys ahead have a penalty, unless there's a safety car, because there is still a good chance that could actually happen. But trying to get a good launch, Eero Viper does a 1:20.5. Let's see what that time we do. It's a 1:21. It still isn't even in the 20s. And Jam Pancakes is going to have a very good run on me. And it literally, there's nothing I could do here. Even if I broke miles later than him, I probably would have caused a collision. There is nothing I could do. And yeah, that was disappointing to me, because I was really hoping to maybe even pull away from him and get out of the DRS zone. But it just seems right now I just don't have the pace at all. And that is just the bottom line. I just do not have the pace around here. And in the practice, I felt I did, and I was lapping quicker than this, but just at the moment I'm just not driving to the level I know I can drive. And again, I think it's just me just being very cautious of how I'm driving, because I'm just not confident, not in my setup, but just not confident in the car and just the feedback I'm receiving and everything. And I think I had a lot of other things going on in my mind about my game potentially crashing and all this stuff. That kind of mindset is not what you want when you're doing a league race. You only want to be focusing purely on getting the best result possible. And when I've done my best races, when I won races, the only thing I'm thinking about is winning the race, nothing else. And if you're thinking about other things, you're not fully focused on the task at hand. And I really was not focused on the task at hand. But we have jumped some people now who have actually pitted towards the end of this race. So again, I think we're probably going to be in a net P5 now. But at this stage, I was feeling okay about keeping Jam Pancakes, but you can see already we're not exactly hassling him, and I'm having to work, as the race went on, harder and harder to stay with him because he does have fresher tyres. But yeah, I'm having to work harder than I would have liked to stay with him. I think it's only through this corner here. It was the only corner I really had a lot more pace than him, but everywhere else, I think he just had more pace than me. And I think not just him, I think the majority of the grid just had more pace than me. It just looks like I'm going for a Sunday drive rather than a league race at this point. And yeah, in my head, it was just a really weird feeling. We make a mistake there as well. And this could be really critical because we have to stay in the DRS zone. And you can see, look how much time he has gained in this last sector here. And we have not got the DRS. So we have lost the DRS on Pancakes. We're in P5 now because everyone is pitted. And we've got 9 laps of this race to go. Now we need to get back in this DRS zone. And I don't have much DRS to really play with as CLG Zelchi actually retires, another guy. But we have a virtual safety car. And I really needed an actual safety car if I wanted to get back into this race. But you can see we're actually being caught by Hawks behind and losing a lot of time to Jam Pancakes. But towards the end of this virtual safety car, it seems to be quite inconsistent because at Bahrain, I was in the red delta as the virtual safety car was ending. It did give me a penalty. But I've seen from other people recently that it actually does on some occasions. So I'm being very cautious and safe in terms of when this actually comes up, because I just do not want to get a penalty at all. But moving towards the last lap of the race now, I can confirm it was just the same story. We just did not have the pace. We were consistent, but just consistently slower, managing to hold up Hawks behind me. Some other people are catching up, but to the leaders, we just didn't drive a good race at all. And this is probably one of my most underwhelming performances I've done in a league race. Now, the result is not horrendous though at all, but I think Jam Pancakes has actually gone onto the podium because a couple of people have penalties ahead of him. It was a very, very disappointing race on my behalf and just didn't drive good enough. Simple as that. Just did not drive good enough at all. And yeah, Jam Pancakes got P3 and I got P5. Now from P11, which is not a horrendous result, but that means I have lost the championship lead because he just keeps on performing right now. So this was a really, really big wake-up call for me, to be honest. After this race, I knew what I had to do to really fix this. And the next race we have is Monaco. And I can tell you that is going to be a pretty eventful one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.